Ladies and gentlemen, this is it, part 3 of FF15 Know the Facts, where we look at some of the things you probably didn't know about this game. Let's do this. If you ever bothered to look around the place during the Insomnia events, you may have noticed some interesting things about the shop names and signs. Many of these names allude to the previous Final Fantasy games. Firstly, there's a sign that reads Nanaki, which is the real name of Red 13 from Final Fantasy VII. Another sign reads Dio, alluding to the FF7 character Dio. Now here's a few from Final Fantasy VIII. The 7 Flash X-ATM alludes to that giant robot X-ATM 092. And did you notice the Windhill vending machines, which of course allude to the town of Windhill? Koyu Koyu Bellum alludes to the country of Bellum and the alien Poo-Poo whose Japanese name is Koyu Koyu. In Insomnia, one of the signs reads Kara Opera Entertainment Little Eiko, a reference to the character from FF9. You'll also find a business named Spira, the name of the world in Final Fantasy X. Another business is named YRP, alluding to the 3 protagonists from Final Fantasy X-2, Yuna, Riku and Pain. The colour of each font represents their respective colour schemes too. Originally, FF Versus 13 promoted a character by the name of Stella Nox Fluore. She appeared in promotional material for Versus 13 prior to the change to FF15. Her design was eventually reworked into the character Luna Freya, however the two served very different roles. Rather than disappoint fans by including a Stella that didn't match what was shown in the early trailers, Square went on to create a new character altogether. So what do we know about this character? Like Noctis, Stella could materialize weapons. She was able to summon her rapier from a golden rune. Does this mean that she would have been playable? Who knows? There are some companies out there that really treat their staff like trash. Square Enix is not one of them. Well, that statement is based entirely on the fact that they gave a pretty awesome thank you gift to the developers of A King's Tale Final Fantasy 15. It was a replica Super Ness cartridge with the game's art and logo. It even includes a Super Nintendo style box. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually work with the Super NES system. Still, good stuff, Square. You may have noticed some playing cards scattered across the world of Final Fantasy 15. The designs on these cards are really quite interesting. Firstly, in the Platinum demo, one of the playing cards in the second segment is a king showing the Pulse L'Cie brand. And all of the cards have numbers written in Etro script. Next, in the actual game, there are some playing cards on the floor of the tent. These cards are also being used by the party in some of the lodging scenes. If you look very closely, you'll see that they are actually from the Serendipity card games from Final Fantasy 13-2. Here's an interesting quote that was used in FF15. The line, "I've fallen and I can't get up," is a famous catchphrase from the late 1980s and early 1990s.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
We're sending help immediately, Mrs. Fletcher.
It was initially featured in a US TV commercial and has since had loads of references in pop culture. FF15 thought they would get on board with this. Take a look.
I'm worried about your friends. They've fallen and they can't get up.
Now it's time for some glitches. Did you know that it's possible to visit Angel Guard Island through a glitch which involves swimming your chocobo across the ocean? Once you arrive, you can run around freely and get a look at it from angles that previously were not possible. There's a similar glitch in Alticia. During the Leviathan fight, you can exit the boundaries and explore several unused areas of the city. This includes the building where Luna was before going to the Great Palace. This particular area has several detailed rooms, and this really makes me wonder if it was going to be explorable at one point in development. No one can say that the Square Enix staff weren't dedicated. To prepare for the development, they camped in a tent similar to the one that appears in the game. They also cooked food using the game's ingredients and using the same camping equipment. This was all done to make the camping mechanics as realistic as possible. But the fun didn't stop here. They also spent time researching before creating some of the lighting effects. Let's take Leviathan for instance. One of the developers purchased real fish, dissected them and looked at how the light reflected on the scales. Now that is dedication. Location scouting was another big focus. The Beluve mines were inspired by an actual abandoned mine in Japan that the developers had visited. Video game developers Hexadrive also accompanied Square Enix on a trip to scout out some caves. These caves later became the Fauchage Hollow. If you explored Altisia during the Moogle Chocobo Carnival, you may have noticed the Square Enix Cafe. The awesome thing here is that the waiter from this cafe was modelled from a real waiter at the actual Square Enix Cafe in Japan. If you're ever in the area, drop in and give him a high five from me. If you actually do that, I would love you forever. The Magitech exosuits have recently been released as DLC, however this took a bit of time. The many holdups were due to the publisher of the Power Rangers thinking that the design was too close to their intellectual property. An altered colourless version of these exosuits is what the players can experience today. And yeah, they're basically void of all colour. And am I the only one who thinks that 30 minutes of invincibility is just a tad overpowered, as if elixirs weren't OP enough? This was Hellfire RPGs, thanks for watching. If you like game facts, be sure to subscribe and check out some of my other stuff. Also, check out my Facebook page and say hi. See you next time.